You have come to hear teaching that would reveal to your own consciousness a divine direction, not merely any direction, with a good and godly purpose, but one that streams forth specifically for you, that imparts to you how you will live in the present day, preparing for the future, not allowing the transgressions of the past to stop you, to stand in your way, or skew the consciousness, not allowing you to be God victorious in your destiny. As the great divine director and Manu, I hold in my consciousness the understanding that is to come forth in the outer consciousness of your own divine plan. The patterns and the blueprint that allow you to absorb into your way of life a new morality in this present time. For far too many are buffeted about by the so-called morality of the times. Those times dictating a sense of right and wrong, of justice, only by the collective consciousness of the human mind, the human patterns of habit, a consensus of the mass consciousness that determines what is right and what is wrong, how one should communicate one with the other, ignoring all the while what is lodged within the secret chamber of the heart, reporting from time to time to the outer mind, to the emotional body, to the physical body, patterns and vibration that should be heard, felt, followed. But since there is such a morassment of consciousness impeding that vibration of the truth of one's own presence of God, pervasive throughout the land, you find it from time to time confusing, challenging, and anything that vibrates at a level that is high and holy is given to the dream state or some form of unreality, that cannot be accomplished in your present state. But oh, how false this is, for it reports to you unreality. The now is one to clear away the debris of human thought and feeling, of habit and mortality, and put on that garment of light that reports to your consciousness only God good, that reverberates throughout your emotional body, a vibration that allows for the transfer of the fire of God, allowing you to be propelled forward to your divine destiny. And what of the physical body? The densest of planes of consciousness that you wear. Will you so establish a momentum of light that every cell of your being has a reservoir of the pure light of perfection that begins to slough off those patterns of illness, pain and suffering, of all manner of hurts that you, yes, you have allowed into the precious life that you have been given. Oh, blessed hearts, all of the cosmic councils would give you a new slate upon which to form your opinions, guide your destiny, establish only perfection if they were allowed. But the cosmic law of octaves and your own God presence demands that you fulfill this holy purpose of life for yourself. It requires for you to find what allows the physical body to function as great as the law will allow at any given time, day or night. To properly nourish it, clothe it, protect it from the elements. And each of the planes of consciousness that reside within the physical octave be treated with the light that streams forth from your own God presence and saturates this body to heal it, energize it, and reflect the light that is the light of your own reality and the truth of your being. When the outer consciousness, as the human ego or the mind, is fed from birth unreality, limitation, and all manner of the morass of many life streams that are amalgamated into the consciousness, then, blessed hearts, it makes it most difficult, would you not agree, to perceive what is real from what is unreal, to determine what path you should choose. Yet you have been given the teaching of the ascended masters to call forth the light of the violet flame, call forth the ray of God consciousness of your own causal body, call forth the intercession of your holy Christ self to make straight your path of enlightenment, to allow for the fires of transmutation to clear away the debris. You will not suddenly turn into a person, a life stream, unknown by your fellow man. But you will discover more and more gravitating to those of like thinking, who do not perceive all about them negativity, or allow that negativity to be poured into their consciousness. No, blessed hearts, your own pure thoughts will magnetize to you the sense of well-being that should be transferred to your emotional body and the physical body. And while holding fast to that consciousness, it allows your own emotions to be treated by the violet flame, to rid one's own emotional body from the anxieties, fears, hurts, disappointments that so lock one into a state of rigidity, no longer moving the energy of the light of your own God presence, but stuck in some time and space vibration, revolving over and over again that self-same vibration. And when it is fostered by the mind of the human ego, you can perhaps begin to see how difficult it is to break the bonds of that shackle of unreality and put on the consciousness of freedom. And how will you allow that freedom to stay once you have tasted, touched, felt the vibration of your own God presence? Will you be strong enough, courageous enough, determined enough to hold fast to that light, to stay the course, to continue to rehearse over and over again how it felt to be in the light and peace that was pouring forth into your emotional body? How the thought patterns of your own mind did not gravitate to negativity of any sort. How it imparted a beneficence unknown prior to touching the vibration of the light of your God presence? And what of the physical body? When it is treated with the light, coursing through the very nerve endings, has there not been a sense of well-being and peace? A harmonization not known before, not merely experienced in the emotional body, but the pain and the suffering of the physical body even diminished or passed away in that time when you were held in the light of your God presence. As you enter into this communion more frequently, you discover a sharp delineation between what is real and what is unreal. And you begin to establish a new pattern of your own morality. It is one that knows between right and wrong for your own consciousness, your own vibration, your own health and well-being. You are not as tempted any longer to pour unreality into your consciousness, to be the seed to foster even more unreality, or create anything that would despoil or disfigure the beauty that could have come forth from your own life stream. And as you fill the chalice, the temple, for your own light of the mighty I Am presence, this physical form that you wear, incarnation after incarnation, then, blessed hearts, you begin to understand what it means to walk with God, to allow your hands and feet to perform those tasks that are congruent with the will of God, with the desire of the heart of God, with the vibration of the energy and motion of God. And you are no longer impatient with yourself or others, for you give the proper time for the unfolding of the creative gift, regardless of that which you are working toward. It has a time and a cycle that will unfold within your own consciousness. And though there may be those cycles of unreality poured back into your consciousness from time to time that cause you dis-ease, you have a greater understanding of what is true and right for your being, for you have felt the flow of the light of God through your vehicles of consciousness, and you quickly wish to return to that vibration. Not a mindless unreality that knows not the difference of right and wrong, that knows not the habits of old that fed into emotional turmoil, or a disfiguring of your own physical being. But you have begun to understand what it means to unfurl the flame of God that resides upon your heart. Not the physical heart, for in and of itself it is performing its task, sometimes thanklessly, for how the human consciousness treats the physical heart. But when I speak of the heart, it is the Holy Christ presence that resides upon the secret chamber of the heart of your being, that resides where the consciousness of your divinity is allowed by the octaves of light to move within your own outer mind and take dominion over the thoughts, for there to be a filling of each of your vehicles of consciousness with wisdom, with love, with the attainment of the will of God, so that as you move through the current present time, you are in touch with the divine plan of your life stream. And you know that your destiny is to fulfill that divine plan, to balance the debts of all of the transgressions, all of the karmic patterns of every incarnation that you have lived. And when that is fulfilled to a certain percentage of 51% or more, enter into the octaves of light, into another plane of consciousness, to fulfill the ascension in the light. Returning home, home within the heart of your own God presence, home where you are no longer required to be buffeted about by human thought and feeling, by untransmuted habits. For you have won your victory over these lesser states of being, and they have come under the God command of the flame upon the altar of your heart. You finally won. Long last, recognizing the truth of the law of your being. It has always been there. And for each incarnation, you have gone through certain patterns of life that have allowed you the opportunity to test the waters of time and space, of the physical octave, putting on these garments of the elemental forces of nature, and having your own threefold flame take command. Know what is the right course, the right action, the right vibration, the right timing. How to fill space, how to diminish that space, how to accelerate vibration and how to decelerate that vibration, how to send forth the thought upon the airwaves and have that thought be precise and accurate and fulfill its divine purpose. But most of all, to have the refinement of the fires of the heart of your own God presence, always coursing through your vehicles of consciousness, so that if you make a mistake or perform a task that is not according to the divine plan of your life stream, then you are able to pass the violet flame through it and see the fires of transmutation, erase it from the record, balancing that act, that creation, and preparing you for the new creation that will follow. Some life streams are required to perform these tasks for many lifetimes, even on one point of the law, in order to fulfill the requirement. But as you have been in embodiment many, many lifetimes, you have a greater attainment than you give yourself credit for, safe guarded in the body of cause, where all of the good, all of the victories, all of the attainment that you have garnered have been deposited. There you, blessed hearts, are able to draw upon those momentums to fulfill your divine destiny. Once you have understood enough of the law of cause and effect, of time and space, of vibration, of consciousness, then more of that causal body momentum of victory can be transferred to certain tasks, certain creative momentums to assist you. So if suddenly there is an attainment that you are sure that you did not labor over, that you did not spend eons of time rehearsing to perfect, chances are you have a great momentum of that already won that is within the consciousness of your causal body. Oh, this may seem so convoluted, so intricate to the new student who does not understand all of these bodies, all of these consciousnesses, and how they are to work. You can rest, Blessed One, in the knowledge and understanding that within the depths of your being is the flame that burns upon the altar of your heart, that you can rely upon. For when all else fails you, in the human consciousness, your emotional body, or the well-being of the physical body, even the circumstances of your life buffeted about by returning karma. You may repair for a time to the flame upon the altar of your heart. This requires stillness, practice, and discipline of the outer vehicles to allow you to move within that consciousness of the heart flame. But once you have established that momentum, you will have the transfer of understanding through wisdom's flame that you have now begun the process of unfurling, increment by increment, vibration upon vibration, the flame of your Holy Christ presence. And you begin to chart the course of your destiny. For some, you have been about this for many incarnations, and it is not new to your awareness, save the terminology, save the fact that you did not know its divine purpose. You only knew that there was the feeling and the vibration, the separation from the unreality of the pain and suffering. But you had adopted the fullness of that reality of the law of your being. Even then, what remains is, what do you do with it? Where do you go from here? It is not simply a matter of knowing, of perceiving, of even internalizing that wisdom and that understanding. But you must know where you go from here. For the consciousness is always facilitated by having a direction with which to point the flames of God, with which to accelerate one's own momentums, to have a sense of awareness that there is a divine purpose and that it does lead to an eventuality that is greater than the present state of consciousness. For those who are students of the Ascended Master teachings, they understand that the goal of the victory of the physical octaves is the ascension in the light, where there is the opportunity for the consciousness of the mighty I Am presence to call all of the vehicles of consciousness into a unified action of the heart flame and begin to radiate as that eternal star of the reality of the I Am presence, not losing the identity of the individuality that has always been, but transferring the great momentums of your God victories, of your God good, into the one consciousness of the mighty I Am presence. And then, according to the will of the presence, determining where that presence will serve God, will present to God in all of life a creativity, an action, a mode of expression, all one by the many incarnations through this physical octave in which you now reside, and painting for the transfer of consciousness to those who are yet to know the divine destiny, increment by increment. Oh, blessed hearts, you have great opportunity if you are within the sound of my voice. For you have had enough of the realization of the flame of God upon the altar of your heart to magnetize you to my address, to my consciousness, to my fire. And it is a fire that transfers to every level of your being, a rehearsal of the divine direction of your own God presence that you are to fulfill. What remains is, will you attend to that direction? Or, as so many rebel against what is your highest and best good, will you gravitate to the vibrations of unreality? Or will you transfer enough of that unreality to pass through the flames of transmutation, leaving the patterns of God reality to keep you in the right vibration and the course that is the election of your presence? Many speak of being in the present, but do they understand that merely to be in the present can be an amalgamation of good and ill, of chaotic vibration and peaceful vibration? But to be in the presence is to know the state and the vibration of the presence of your Holy Christ presence, of the I Am presence, of the presence of God. Won't you allow the presence of God to be where you are? To be the thoughts that you have, the creativity that you bring forth, the vibration that you live within, that determines the surroundings of your life, the patterns of your habits, the professions that you employ. All things that come forth through your life stream. For the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body are not separate bodies, as some have so ascribed to the outer consciousness that could not put on the garment of the Lord. No, blessed hearts, that is unreality. That is a state of delusion. But what is The divine destiny of every son and daughter of God is to put on the garment of the Lord, to wear the light of the Holy Christ presence, even as they are day to day in the throes of their responsibilities, of taking authority over their own life, of their God determination, of fulfilling the necessities of the law, and exercising the sacrifice of the unconditional love of the heart. At the end of the day, knowing that the day's work has been performed by the guiding hand of the light of God, that those things that perhaps were not accomplished according to what you have felt or understood to be the best that could be accomplished by you. And note, I said by you, not another, would be forgiven as you allowed the violet flame to pass over those transgressions or lesser states of victory, preparing your consciousness to try again, to arise upon the new day and greet it with an enthusiasm, with an acceleration of the flame upon the altar of your heart, ready to engage in life. For you now understand that you have a divine destiny and a purpose. And no matter the report of unreality about you, within the secret chamber of your heart passes the vibration to your consciousness, to your emotional body, and yes, to the physical body, a vibration that allows you to stay the course, to be renewed each morn, and to continue in the constancy of your journey. It is a long journey, but it is filled with such glorious sights, sounds, and experiences that are within the canopy of the light of God. Draw those experiences to you, those victories, those glories, and let those be what you emulate in every incarnation of your life. I, the great director, entrust you into the safekeeping of the flame upon the altar of your heart. As I extend my right hand, I magnetize that flame to know the light of God and expand in that awareness that you allow as a consciousness of the Christ mind, as a consciousness of the will of God, and as a consciousness of the love of God, swirling all about you and taking its rightful God dominion over the affairs of your life. Let that flame of God as the threefold flame of the action of love, wisdom, and power, as the will, divine direction, and the love keep you all the days of your incarnation till the day of your ascension in the light. I thank you.